Hello, my name is Arkan Wansa with NPM 25013010223. And in this chapter 14, the revenue cycle, sales to cash collection, first we need to cover the basics. The first thing is, what is revenue cycle? So, revenue cycle means the recurring set of business activities and data processing operations associated with providing goods and services to customers and collecting cash in payment for the sales. And so, what is the primary objective of revenue cycle? The revenue cycle's primary objective is to provide the right product in the right place at the right time for the right price. Nah, to accomplish that objective, management must make some key decisions. The example is like how much inventory should be carried and where should that inventory be located, or how should merchandise be delivered to customers, and what are the optimal prices for each product or services. The answer to those questions guide how an organization performs the four basic revenue cycle activities that is there is four. Yeah. So the first one is sales order entry, and the second one is shipping, three billing, and four cash collection. All of these activities will be explained later in this chapter. Entering the second slide, here we have a flowchart of ERP system designed to support the revenue cycle. So, how is the process go? First is customer place order, whether by website or to salespeople. If by website, you can see the blue cloud on the top, and if by salespeople, the sales department enters customer orders received over the telephone or by fax or by mail. You can see it on the top left. And second, the system verifies, checks, and notifies. So the system verifies customer credit worthiness, and the system also checks inventory availability. Then the system notifies the warehouse and shipping departments about the approved sale. Third, warehouse and shipping employees enter data about their activities as soon as they are performed. So this is mean the inventory status update is in real time. You can see the flow on the top right. Then fourth, the invoice program runs in batch mode by the accounting. When it comes to payment, some of the company customers still send checks to one of the regional banks with which the company has established electronic log process. But nowadays, a lot of customers remit their payments electronically, so they can do it by phone in mobile banking. Each day, the bank sends the company a file containing remittance data, which the system uses to update the company's cash account balance and customer accounts. On the third slide, we have the threats, the general threats, and how to control them, or what is the control. The previous flowchart shows that all revenue cycles activities depend on the integrated database that contains information about customers, inventory, and pricing. Therefore, the first general threat listed in the table in the book, you can see in the table 14.1 in the book, the first general threat is inaccurate or invalid master data. Errors in customer master data could result in shipping merchandise to the wrong location, or delays in collecting payments because of sending invoice to the wrong address, or making sales to customer that exceed their credit limits. Then what is the control? The control 1.1 in table 14.1 shows that one way to mitigate the threat of inaccurate or invalid master data is to use the various processing integrity controls discussed in previous chapter, in the chapter 13, to minimize the risk of data input errors. And then the next control 1.2, is restriction of access to master data. It is important to use the authentication and authorization controls discussed in chapter 11 to restrict access to that data and configure the system so that only authorized employees can make changes to master data. And the next control is control 1.3, is review of all changes to master data. This is to regularly produce a report of all changes to master data and then review them to verify that the database remains accurate. And the second general threat is unauthorized disclosure of sensitive information. First control is to employ strong access controls. Control 2.1, that this is to limit who can view such information. It is also important to configure the system to limit employees' abilities to use the system built-in query capabilities to access only the specific tables and fields relevant to performing their assigned duties. Then control 2.2 is encryption. So sensitive data should be encrypted. Control 2.3 is tokenization of customer personal information. This is because encryption does not protect information during processing, so we need tokenization. And the third threat is loss or destruction of data. The control is to have backup and disaster recovery procedures. Lastly, the general threat for is poor performance. The control is managerial reports. This is the accountant's job to use their knowledge about the underlying business process to design innovative reports that provide management with insights beyond those provided by traditional financial statements.
Now, I will explain this slide about the sales order entry process, which is a key part of the revenue cycle. And this process is responsible for receiving, recording, validating, and processing the customer's orders before they move to the next stage, like shipping and billing. As we can see in the diagram on the left, the customer sends order first, and then we take the first step. The first step is take the order, and then the second step is credit approval, and then the third step is check inventory availability, and then the fourth step is respond to customer inquiries. After all checks are completed, the sales order is sent to the different departments. For the first department is shipping. It's to deliver the goods. And then the second department is billing to prepare the invoice. And then the third of department is warehouse to pick and prepare the items that order. And then the fourth is purchasing. It's department of if additional inventory is needed in the orders. Okay guys, for this slide, I will explain the main stage of sales order entry, which is an important data of the revenue cycle. So for the first step is the taking customers' orders. In the past, companies many use paper to record the orders from the customers. But today, most companies use electronic forms in ERP system. At this stage, the system records important data such as item number, price, and terms of sales, also the quantity of the customer's orders. This step is important because it can change the customer request into a formal sales order. If there is a mistake here, it can affect the next steps like shipping and billing. However, there are some risks in this stage. So the risk example is the order data may be wrong or the order data may be invalid and accurate and inaccurate. This can cause the problem like delays and unhappy customers. To reduce this risk, the company used the controls such as data check, automatically data lockup, access restrictions, and also digital or written signatures. This control can help and make sure the data is correct and reliable. So the second stage is credit approval. Many companies sells on the credit, especially on business to business transaction. So the system needs to check if the customer can pay. It check the credit limit, payment history, and the current balance of the customer. If the order is too big or the customer is new, it needs the special approval. Today, system can do this automatically in the real time. To support these companies, use internal controls. For the example, order over the credit limit must be approved by the credit manager. The new customer needs special approval sales staff. Cannot change the credit limit. And then the staff can only view credit data, not to edit it. The purpose of this control is to prevent bad debts and ensure the proper and approval of this customers' need of the order and reduce the financial risk. So this stage is not only about making sales but also about the controlling risk. So the next stage is the checking inventory availability. Here is the system. Check if there is enough of the stock. If the stock is not enough, so the system creates a back of order and informs the customer about the delays. The main goals are to avoid stocks out, reduce storage costs, and manage the inventory efficiently. The companies use tools like sales forecast and inventory systems to support this process. Okay, guys, for the next material, it's about main stage of sales order entry, which is the next step. It's about the responding to customers' inquiries, along with the role of technology and how companies evaluate this process. At this stage, the company provides important information to the customers. For the example, order status, expected delivery dates, and product availability. This is important because customers want the accurate and the timely information before and after placing an order. To support this process, companies use customers relationship management, or we can call it CRM system. The system helps the store customers' data, track the previous interactions, and provide the faster and more personalized responses. For the example, the system can quickly show a customer's order history or the current order status. The company also use automated, frequently asking and questions on the website. This helps answer common questions instantly without requiring human interactions. As a result, response times become faster, operational costs are reduced, and employees can focus the more complex customers' issues. Customers inquires technology. From a technology perspective, there are two key tools. For the first is CRM system, which manages the track customer and interactions. Second, automated systems such as frequently asking questions that handle routine inquiries. Together, these technologies improve both efficiency and service quality. However, it is also important to evaluate whether the systems are effective. For example, companies should consider whether the system is easy for employees to use and whether it integrates well with the ERP system. If the system is difficult to use or not well integrated, it can reduce efficiency instead of improving it.
My name is Aulia Indah Agreta with the last 3 digit NPM 183, and I will presenting about shipping. Shipping is the second basic activity in the revenue cycle. It is the activity to fulfilling the customer orders and shipping the desired merchandise to the customers. This process consists of two steps, and the first one is picking and packing the order. It is the step where warehouse worker collecting items and prepare them for shipment based on a picking ticket that generated from the sales order. After picking all the items are recorded and sent to the shipping department. And to improve efficiency and accuracy, companies use automated warehouse technologies such as barcode scanners, RFID, and wireless systems including RFID terminals and voice-directed headsets which provide real-time instruction and reduce errors. On the right side, there is shown picture about data flow diagram shipping. On the green circle on top, 2.1 pick and pack, there is red triangles that fulfilled with number 10 and 11. It is the threads that threatening pick and pack the order process during shipping. The first thread is the risk of picking the wrong items or the wrong quantity. It is stated in the Thread 10. This occurs in the warehouse when employees select goods for customer orders. If mistakes happen, customer may receive incorrect items, and returning the items also make the decertification to the warehouse. The controls that could be used from the table 14.1 about threats and controls in the revenue cycle is Control 10.1 barcode and RFID technology. Erase items that made to be scanned during picking to ensure accuracy. And then Control 10.2 reconciliation of picking lists to sales order details. It is to make the system compare picked items with the sales order. With both of this control, it is ensuring that the correct items and qualities are prepared before the shipping process. And then the second thread is theft of inventory. It is that in the thread 11. According to the table, it is not only causing financial loss but also makes inventory records inaccurate, which can disrupt order fulfillment. The controls that we use from table 14.1 is 11.1 restriction of physical access to inventory. It is to make only authorized employees can access the warehouse. 11.2 documentation of all inventory transfer. It is to make every movement of goods must be recorded. And then 11.3 RFID and barcode technology. It is to enable real-time tracking of inventory. And then 11.4 restrict ability to cancel sales. It is to preventing manipulation of the transaction. And then 11.5 controls shipments to one-time customers. It is to preventing the use of fake customers to hiding the theft identity. And then the 11.6 periodic physical counts and reconciliation. It is to make the inventory is regularly counted and compared with records. These controls improve both security and accountability, and to preventing the thread 11 could be happen during the pick and pack the order process. The second step of the shipping process is ship the order. After all the items are picked, the shipping department sends them to the customer. The shipping clerk first compares the physical goods with the picking ticket and sales order to ensuring about accuracy. If there are discrepancies, missing items are back-ordered and the correct quantities are recorded on the packing slip. Once verified, the clerk enters the sales order number, item details, and quantities into the system, which updates inventory records. The system then generates a packing slip and a bill of lading to complete the shipping process. On the right side, there is shown a picture of packing slip. In the packing slip, the top left is information about the warehouse or the companies, and then under the packing slip is order date and order number, and then there's information about the customers in the ship to table, and then about the shipping information such as ship date, ship via, and the tracking numbers. And then the table about the information of the items. There is the item and then the description about the item, how much is the order, the back order, and how much is the ship. Under all of it, there is a customer return form to customer returning the damaged items. The packing slip lists the quantity and description of each item, including in all the shipment. And then there's the bill of lading. It is a legal contract that defines responsibility for the goods in transit. It identifies the carrier, source, destination, and any special shipping instruction, and it indicates who Either it's the customer or the vendor who must pay the carrier. A copy of the bill of lading and the packing slip accompany the shipment. If the customer is the one who to pay the shipping charges, this copy of the bill of lading may serve as a freight bill to indicate the amount the customer should pay to the carrier. In other cases, the freight bill is a separate document. And then there are some important decisions that companies must make during the shipping process in the revenue cycle. The first one is the choice of delivery method. Traditionally, company will use their own truck fleets to deliver the goods. But however, in nowadays, many companies are outsourcing deliveries to the commercial carriers such as DHL, FedEx, UPS. The main goal why the company is using outsourcing delivery is to reduce the cost and focus on their core business. But however, even though if the delivery is using the outsourcing deliveries, customers will still blame the company if something goes wrong. So that's why the company should be monitoring the carrier performance, such as on-time delivery rates and damage claims, to ensure that the selected carrier provides reliable service. The second one is the location of distribution centers. It is where the logistics software is used to minimize inventory and meet delivery requirements. Today, many customers are expecting about just-in-time delivery, meaning the products that must arrive exactly when needed. And then the third one is impact of globalization. Globalization makes logistics even more complex. In different countries, they have different transportation system and then also different tax rules and government regulations. These factors affecting how goods should be delivered. So that's why companies need advanced information systems and logistics software to improving efficiency, reducing costs, and ensuring about the effective global distribution. Back on the data flow diagram shipping, on the second green circle, it is to point to ship goods, and another red triangle that fulfilled with number 11 and 12, which the 11 one already explained on the threads that threatening the pick and pack the order, while the 12 one is the threads on the shipping the goods steps. The controls that used to prevent thread 12 from table 14.1 is 12.1 reconciliation of shipping documents. It is to matching sales order, picking list, and packing slip. And then 12.2 use of RFID to identify delays. It is to help monitoring shipment status. 12.3 data entry via barcode scanners. It is to reduce manual input errors. And then 12.4 data entry edit controls. It is to ensure data accuracy before processing. And then 12.5 ERP configuration to prevent duplicate shipments. It is to prevent sending the same order more than once. These controls help ensure that shipping is accurate and efficient.
So I want to talk about billing. First, we must understanding about level 1 data flow diagram billing. This diagram illustrates explain about how data flows between department system and external parties such as customer within a company. In the activity 3.1 invoicing, this is the center of the first process. This section is responsible for creating invoices for customer. Data enters here from two main sources. The first one is sales order entry, provides information regarding the orders placed by the customer. The second is shipping, provides the packing slip and bill of proof that the goods have actually been shipped. And then it gives some output like an invoice and send it to the customer and record the sales data into the general ledger like in activity 3.2 update accounts receivable. In activity 3.2 also have another input which is from mailroom. When a customer pays, the mailroom sends a remittance list to this process to reduce the receivable balance, and then it makes output to the customer. In periodically, this process sends monthly statement to customers so they are aware of their remaining balance. So billing isn't just about sending an invoice, it is an information processing activity that essentially replicate data we've already collected. It requires item and quantity of goods shipped from the shipping department and prices and special sales term from the sales department to create a complete picture of the transaction. While we still see paper invoices, for small clients, many companies have moved to electronic data interchange or EDI. Because it saves more money, through EDI can yield significant cost reduction like the labor and costs associated with printing and postage. And a well-designed accounting system can entirely eliminate the need for invoices if both buyer and seller have accurate transaction processing system. In fact, some sophisticated systems now use invoices billing, which the seller sends an electronic notification when goods are shipped and the customers acknowledge receipt to trigger payment. As you can see on the screen, this is the example of sales invoice in AOS that includes the bill to and ship to details, the specific item sold, unit prices, and the total amount due. It serves as the official notification to the customer that it's time to pay. So when using invoicing, there are some threats that will be faced, right? The threat is billing error, the threat number 14. The billing error is like a pricing mistake, and billing customer for item not shipped or back order represent another potential threat. It have some risk. If it's overbilling, can result in customer dissatisfaction, right? And underbilling will result in the loss of assets. Pricing mistake can be avoided by having a pricing master data which the system should automatically receive price data from the pricing master file. And the second is restrict access, which limit the ability of employees to make manual changes to pricing data. And the last is reconciliation, which must match the quantities list on packing slips with the data on the sales order. So we move into the maintain account receivable. So once the invoice is out, the account receivable function, which report to the controller, is take over. They perform two basic goals. It's a debit customer account when an invoice is created and credit them once the payment arrives. And they also have two main ways to manage this. It's the open invoice method and balance forward method. In the open invoice method, customer pay for each specific invoice. Usually, 2 copies of the invoice are mailed to the customer, who is requested to return 1 copy with the payment. This is common in B2B environment, where transactions are high value but lower in the volume. On the other hand, utility companies or credit card issuers often use the balance forward method. Here, customers pay based on the monthly statement total rather than individual invoices. This is much more efficient for processing a high volume of small purchases. For companies with millions of customers, billing everyone on the same day will overwhelm their system. Instead, they using cycle billing strategy. This means they divide their customer base into subsets and bill a different group each week. This ensures a steady, uniform flow of cash collections throughout the entire month. And then if something happens, like when a customer wants to return items or has damaged goods or we want to pay debt write-off, we need to make adjustment and credit memos. So to credit a customer for returned good, the credit manager first makes sure the items were actually sent back from the receiving dot. After confirmed, they create a document called a credit memo. This document is used to lower the amount of money the customer owes. To authorize the account adjustment, a copy of this memo is sent to the accounting department to update the records, and the other copy is sent to the customer so they know their balance has been reduced. And now we move into the threats and control. In the maintain account receivable, it has a threat which is error in maintaining customer accounts, the threat number 15. So if customer accounts are managed poorly, it leads to loss of future sales because the customer might get frustrated and leave, and potential indication of cash thief because messy records make it easier for someone to steal money without being noticed. To keep the data safe, company use three main steps. The first one is data entry edit check. It's use checks such as validity checks and closed loop verification to minimize customer account data input error. And the second is batch total, which is using batch total to detect posting error by matching payment amount with change in balance account. And the last is monthly statement, is sending monthly account statement to customer as a form of additional independent check.
Okay, hello everyone. I am Eka Safir Valencia and I will be presenting the final step in revenue cycle about cash collection. The final step in the revenue cycle is cash collection. The primary objective here is twofold. First, to safeguard customer remittance, that means cash and checks, and the second, to speed up cash flow. Why is safeguard so important? Because cash is easy to steal, so strict control are essential. One of the most important control is segregation of duty. So the cashier who report to the treasurer handle physical cash and check and make bank deposit. Meanwhile, the account receivable function receive only remittance data. That is information about who paid and how many they paid, but never be actually a payment. The separation prevent one person from both stealing cash and hiding the theft by altering record. And now, how the customer payment process internally. The mailroom opens all incoming mail and immediately prepare to remittance list, a document that record customer name and payment amount. The check are then sent to the cashier for deposit, while the remittance advice or the remittance list go to the account receivable for posting. Many companies also use remote deposit capture, where they scan customer check and send the encrypted digital file directly to the bank, eliminated need for physical trip to the bank. To speed up collection, company use several techniques. First, a lockbox. A lockbox is simply a postal address managed by a bank. Customer send their payment directly to the address, and the bank pick up the checks, deposit them into the company account, and send the remittance data to the company. This eliminated the internal processing delay that happen when mail is first received at the company-owned office. An even faster option is a electronic lockbox. Here, the bank scan the checks and electronically send the remittance data, including the customer account and the amount they paid. So it immediately this allow the company to start applying payment to customer account even before the physical copies of the checks arrive. And another method is electronic fund transfer or EFT. Customer send fund electronically through a ACH network. This eliminating mail delay entirely, so fund become available much faster. However, there is a problem with EFT. If EFT alone, it transfers only the fund, not the remittance data. That means the company receives money but has no information about which invoice to credit or what discount the customer took. Okay, now look at the figure 1419. This figure compared to approach. The top panel show the non-integrated approach where AD and EFT are separated. So the company B send remittance data in ADI format through one channels and found in ECH format through another channel. So and company A received two separate streams. First for the payment instruction on the one side and also the receipt information on the other. This complicated com this make process more complicated because the data and the money arrive at a different time and someone has to manually match them one by one for each transaction. And in the bottom panel, it shows FEDI, Financial Electronic Data Interchange, FEDI, combines EFT and ADI into one integrated package. So company B send both remittance data and payment instruction together in single electronic package. And the bank exchange remittance data and found as one integrated transmission. As a result, company A received the remittance data and the receive information simultaneously or in the same time. This makes the entire process fully automated, accurate, and much faster. So the benefit of FEDI is that it's eliminated the need to match separated payment file and data file. So everything arrives together so account receivable can be updated immediately. Okay, now let's discuss the two major threats on cash collection. Threat 17 is theft of cash. Cash is highly vulnerable. There are several specific systems. First is leaping. Leaping is when an employee steals a customer payment and then use a later payment from another customer to cover the thief. This requires access to both cash and account receivable posting. Second is concealment via credit memos. An employment steals cash and then issue a credit memo to reduce the customer account balance. Because the balance is lowered, the customer never complains. Third, manipulation on bank reconciliation. The same employee who handle cash also handle the reconciliation, the bank statement. That person can hide the thief by recording false bank fee or adjusting the reconciliation. And how we reduce this threat? First is segregation duty strictly. The person who handle cash must not post the account receivable, must not authorize credit memos, and must not reconcile the bank account. And second, we use lootbox, EFT, FEDI, FEDI to eliminate employee contact with cash. Third, implement physical control. Have two people open mail containing payment, apply restrictive endorsement immediately, and make daily deposit. And trait number 18 is poor cash flow performance. When cash storage occur unexpectedly, the company is focused to borrow at expensive short-term rates. When excess cash sits idle, the company misses investment return. Without accurate cash flow information, management cannot time borrowing or investing properly. The AOE case in the chapter show exactly the problem in delay in customer payment lead to increased short-term borrowing and financial strain. The risk included higher interest costs, missed discount from supplier because cash is tight, and damage to company credit rating if borrow become too frequent. A cash flow budget can help, but the threat is that without it, the company will face unexpectedly shortage or surplus, leading to poor financial decision.